Great morning, great morning. You guys come on in. Hmm. Come on in. My God. Mm. I'm gonna share and then I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started. Come on in this Sunday morning. This amazing Sunday morning. Come on in. Great morning, April. Great morning. Good to see you, beautiful. You guys come on in. Oh, there's a word from the Lord today. Mhm. Y'all know for the past few days, I've done a lot of tossing and turning and just kind of having God talk to me. Well, uh, last night was not an exception. I sleep and wake up, sleep and wake up, sleep and wake up, right? He gave me the text for today's message this morning, and I thought that maybe it was for this, but it's not. It's for our worship service. Um, but he began to talk to me about you thought it was over. Yes, April. Yes. And you guys share this broadcast, share this broadcast. Let me know once you shared. Share the broadcast. Let me know once you've shared. It's a lot of people that need this word right here. You thought it was over. You thought it was over. Y'all let me know where you are, where you're tuning in from. Let me know where you are, where you're tuning in from. Mm, hmm, my God. Yes, Lord. Huh. Mm. So listen, many of you have been in a place where there's been so much going on in your life. You had hell coming on all sides, and you like just feel like, what is the point? Thank you, April. You feel like, what is the point? What is the point of this? What is the point of continuing on? What is the point? Because it seems as though God, no matter what I do, it always ends up the same. No matter, where I go, I end up seeing the same thing, getting the same thing, experiencing the same thing. It seems like it's the same, the same, the same, the same, the same. The pressure, the press, now some good things will happen, but I got all of this pressing on me, pressing against me. Baby, I know you thought it was over, but it ain't. Listen, there is a song that says it ain't over until God says that it's over. It ain't over until God says it's done. This is what I need you to understand. I need you to understand that it ain't over. It ain't done. You not counted out. You still have assignment. You still have destiny. It doesn't matter what's transpired in your life. It doesn't matter what you've gone through. It doesn't even matter what you're doing right now. What matters is what God has already said concerning you. See, when God makes a declaration concerning your life, remember, He's the one that knew you before you were conceived in your mother's womb. He's the one that shaped, formed, and fashioned you for your assignment and for your destiny. And if He shaped, formed, and fashioned you for your destiny, you think He didn't put in you what you needed for this that you're going through, this that's coming your way, this that's hitting you. Listen, I'm telling you, God's already got you. And it ain't over until God says that it's over. It's not over until God says that it's over. So it doesn't matter what people can count you out, baby. Let them count you out, honey. God love a good underdog story. He loves that. He loves a good comeback. He loves a good thing where you find yourself, people think that you're done. They think that you're out. And right when it's looking like you're about to be done, you're about to be out all of a sudden, Bam, God steps in, baby, and changes your story. See, God specializes in changing your story. If you've not gone through anything, what does he need to change? Nothing. You better understand that it ain't over. You thought it was over. You thought it was over. You thought it was over for you. You thought you would never have love. You thought you would never get married. You thought you would never have children. You thought your business would never prosper. You thought all of those things, but God said it ain't over. You thought, oh, I'm too old, for this career or for a career change. I've gone through too much. I've been married too many times. I've had too many failed relationships. I haven't had a baby yet. You thought it was over. You did. You thought it was over. It ain't over. That's right. That's right, Apple. April, this is the time to shout. This is the time to throw your hands up because you thought it was over, but it ain't. It's not over, Maisha. It is not over. And not only is it not over, but God has greater in store for you, greater than what you thought, greater than what you imagined, greater than what you conceived within your mind's eye. It's not over. Oh, you thought it was. You did. You did. You talked to your girls about it. You talked to your boys about it. You said, oh, I'm just going to quit. I'm just going to give up. What's the point? Why do I even need to do this? Why should I even be concerned about this? It's not working. God said, it ain't over. It ain't over. It's not over. And the reason that it's not over is because God said it ain't over. So you don't need no other reason than that. And God said it ain't over. You still got time. I got stuff for you to do. There is an assignment on your life that is so great that the failure for the assignment to be completed and to thrive will result in the loss of hundreds of thousands of people and their lives. Hundreds of thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands. Did I say hundreds of thousands? Hundreds of thousands of people lost if your assignment is not completed. What does that mean? It means that God will make sure that you're in position to do what it is that he told you to do. Now, whether you actually do it or not is going to be up to you, but he's telling you it's not over and it's not too late. I've got you. There's nothing like God having you. There's nothing like God saying, baby, I got you. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to walk it out. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to walk it out. I know we like to know the end from the beginning, but we know the end. We win. Period. We win everything that God has promised us, everything that God has said concerning us. Listen, it happens. Period. How do I know that? You're like, Dr. V, I know, you say that, but how do you know that? I know that because in his word, he says that his word would not return to him void, but it would accomplish everything that it is sent forth to accomplish. So do you think that doesn't include you? You think it doesn't include your life? You think it doesn't include your destiny? Oh, you think it's just for other people. It ain't for you. Oh, the devil is a lie. No, this is for you. You thought it was over. God didn't say it was over. You thought it was. And because you thought it was, you backed up. Because you thought it was, you stopped putting in the work. Because you thought it was, you stopped giving your all because you thought it was over. You thought it was over. You thought that you would never walk into your destiny and your purpose. You thought that. You thought you would never get married. You thought that. You thought that you would die an old maid with cats. You thought that. God didn't say that. You thought you weren't going to be able to have children. Listen, there's somebody on here that the doctor said that you won't be able to have children. The devil is a lie. You're going to have a baby, and you're going to have a baby in 2023, which means you're getting pregnant in 2022. You're going to have a baby in 2023. It's going to be a boy, and you're going to give him a biblical name. Now, listen, I'm telling y'all, listen, somebody on here thought the doctors told you wasn't going to be able to have no kids. You can't have no kids. You can't have no kids. None. Not that you have kids already and you can't have any more. No, this is someone who you were told you would never be able to have children. You've not had children and you have been devastated about that because all you want is to be a mother, much like Hannah. Okay. All you want is not Hannah. Is that her name? I can't think of a name. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Samuel's mama. Okay. But somebody on here, they told you that you're not going to be able to have children. But what I'm telling you is what God said. God said that you're going to have a child. You're going to have a child. The child is going to be born in 2023, which means you're getting pregnant in 2022. You may be saying, I don't even have a man. Well, guess what that means? That he's getting ready to send your husband. Okay? Because this child will not be born outside of wedlock. This child will be conceived within the confines of holy matrimony. Listen, this is not going to be a bastard child. This child is chosen by God, and he has a specific assignment. And you have an assignment much like Mary. because the child is significant. The child has great destiny. So just know that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now you cannot believe me if you want to, but somebody been waiting for some hope because they almost lost hope because you thought it was over. Yes, Maisha, chosen by God. Listen, I ain't trying to be funny. God loves everybody, okay? Loves everybody, desires that everybody be saved. But can I just be real with y'all? Can I be real? It's some people that are specifically handpicked by God for special assignments because of who they are. Because of who they are, because of things God deposited in you, because of a plan that He has for your life. Your life is a testimony, a walking, living, breathing testimony to inspire the world, to inspire others, which means that not only must it happen, but then you got to talk about it. He's looking for some people that's going to talk about it and be about it. He's looking for some people that are going to do what He says do and then tell what He said do and then tell what they did. Even if some of what they did wasn't good, they're going to give the whole of the testimony, not part of the testimony. He's looking for some people who are ready to declare that, listen, I have overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of my testimony. I'm just trying to say He's looking for some people with a big mouth. I know they told you got a big mouth. You tell everything. Yep, you sure do. Yep, you sure do. Because God has designed you that way. Tell it all. Tell it all. Why? Because there's someone that needs to hear what you have to say. Someone who needs to hear your testimony. Someone who needs to hear what happened in your life, how God moved. Listen, that's why when people be looking at me strange when I talk about I'm celibate. Now listen, anybody that know me, that ain't never been my desire. I know that may be wrong because I'm a pastor, prophet, evangelist, teacher, preacher, apostle, all that stuff. It may be wrong, but listen, I'm trying to tell y'all, I never had a desire to have the celibate testimony. No desire for that. I don't want that. God, you just gonna have to work with me because I don't want that. For one day, all of a sudden, after a prayer session with my auntie, an impromptu prayer session where our angels came together and collided in my room, and she began to pray and prophesy. And I felt some deep rooted stuff coming up out of me, purged. And as soon as I left the bathroom, I knew with everything in me, I'm celibate. Much the same way, I knew I was pregnant. Do y'all hear me? Something happens, and all of a sudden you have a knowing. It's not that you heard the voice of God say, you are celibate, or you heard the voice of God say, you are pregnant, but something happens and you know, bam, oh, 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 I just conceived something. Though I didn't desire the testimony, I didn't even ask for the deliverance. I didn't want it. Let me just be clear with y'all. I didn't want that. I knew it. And I knew it had purpose. See, this is what we got to understand. When we are called to a great assignment, we can run from it. It can look like it's never going to happen, but I tell you what, when God has a plan for your life, His word will not return to Him void. He's going to do what He need to do with you. He's going to move you where He need to move you, put you with who He need to put you with, orchestrate and order the things of your life the way He needs to orchestrate it and order it for His word to manifest. All He needs you to do is be a little willing in some other areas, and then He got you in the other ones. Like, listen, He know I'm a yes. I'm gonna say yes for the most part. I'm gonna say yes. That one, I'm like, no, God, I'm not. That's not my portion. That's not my calling, God. I know you say it, God, but you know me, God. You made me. Come on, God. You know, come on, baby. God said, okay, I got you. Just like that. What God desires to do in your life, He'll maneuver you, position you, allow you to collide with certain people so that it can be made manifest. He'll bring certain information to you. You'll see things in movies, on billboards. You'll get these. You'll find yourself in a place where, like, for the past, like, I always see angel numbers, but like I've been seeing them heavy for probably the past few weeks. Like, it letting me know you're on the right path. I got you. You got support. You're not doing it by yourself. You got this. Okay, okay, okay. It's transformation time. We don't always like the transformation because transformation is challenging. Transformation means that there's a shedding of something. You got to shed something to get something new, right? It's just like with the wine and the wine skins. You got to get rid of the old wine skins. You need new wine skins for new wine. You can't recycle the old wine skin. You can't just put a patch on the old wine skin. You can't just pray over the old wine skin. You need a new wine skin for the new oil, for the new wine, because without it, the new wine will explode the old wine skin. I want you to think about it like this. This may be a little gross and a little graphic. Okay. I don't know if y'all can handle this, but let me just say it. For those of you who may watch sci-fi, and graphic sci-fi at when they have the times when people just like explode, like that's what happens when you try to pour new wine in old wineskin. You just explode. That explosion means that you start being a little off, right? Things are real out of kilter for you. Like you all discombobulated. You don't know what to do because as you're expanding, it's like the pressure begins to be too great, so great to the point where you eventually just go, you explode or implode. Either one is bad. So God says you need new wineskin. God is giving you new wineskin because he's not through and it ain't over. You're not done. God is not done with you and your story is not finished. It is not over. Oh, baby, you got a happy ending waiting for you. And I'm not talking about the kind at the little Chinese massage spot. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about God is getting ready to give you a happily ever after. Let me say this: joyfully ever after, not happily ever after. Happily ever after and happiness is contingent upon conditions, but joyful, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Joy, joy, joy is not contingent upon circumstances. Joy is a choice. You choose God's joy, and in his joy, you find peace that surpasses all understanding. Listen, I'm telling y'all, it's time for us to understand that God is not through. It is not over. We are not done. There is more that he is doing in us. I need you to understand, yes, April, that he's doing a new thing. We need new wineskin. It's like a snake. A snake, when the seasons change at some point in their life, they'll shed their skin, right? They shed that old skin. That old skin goes away. Underneath it is new skin. Like whether it is a new wine skin or it's the snake shedding the old skin so that the new skin can be exposed, or the caterpillar who's turned into a butterfly who must go into a chrysalis and then grow and develop and fight its way out so that he can fly and have all those beautiful colors. Listen, I'm telling you, it is transformation, metamorphosis season. You've changed. Okay. I'm sorry. A call came through. I don't know how I got it on Do Not Disturb. What in the world? Let me make sure it's on Do Not Disturb on here. I love you too, Daddy. Hold on. It is. Mm. Yes, Lakita. Yes. Look, let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell y'all, and I want y'all to catch this. If you catch this, it's a game changer. So I told y'all God been talking to me about some stuff. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Y'all know that about me. I'm gonna be honest with y'all and I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. God be telling me to do stuff I don't want to do. And I be like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't. I'm just telling you up front, for real, for real. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. God, listen. I'm like Jesus in the garden. Is there any other way we can do this other than this? Like, can something else transpire? Look, I'm open to options. I just don't want to do that. Nope. So today I had to do something I didn't want to do. But God had been talking to me about it, ministering to me about it. And I'm reading a book and the book is talking about it. And I'm like, oh my God, everything keeps coming back to this. Everything keeps coming back to this. Listen, if you will get in your purpose, I promise you, get in your purpose, get in your divine purpose, walk out your divine purpose, do what God has called you to do, and watch how he opens doors for you. Watch how things fall into place. Don't do it just for that. Even if you do it just for that, listen, do it. God desires to get some things in your hands, but he cannot. One, because you think it's over, so you don't believe. Two, because you won't do this difficult thing that he's called you to do. And it's only so difficult because you make it that way. If you would give in and stop fighting, you would be surprised at how much easier it is for you to get to your destination and your destiny. Yes, Monica. Monica said, yes, Lord, let me do it this way. No, you're going to do it his way. Right. Yeah, that's me all day. Okay. With certain stuff, not everything. Most stuff I'm obedient on, but there's some stuff I'd be like, I don't trust you with that. That's what I tell them. I don't trust you with that. Mm-mm. No, you might give me something I don't want. I don't know, God. I don't know. But he is a loving God and a gentle father. Why would he not give you the desires of your heart? Why would he do a switch and bait on you? Why? Unless there's something so amazing and incredible about what he's given you that you can't even see it yet. There's a metamorphosis taking place that is going to change the game. But it starts with your metamorphosis. It starts with your change. It starts with you allowing God to do what he needs to do in you. Yesterday, I did a reel and I was talking about this. Just came in my spirit yesterday. I was talking to my cousin. I said, if you're comfortable where you are, then you're in your last season because your new season ain't comfortable. Comfort is overrated. Comfort doesn't get you to destiny. Comfort doesn't keep you in purpose. It doesn't. Comfort keeps you complacent, keeps you calm, keeps you right there, like just enough to keep you. No, that's not what God wants, not this season. This season is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be uncomfortable. Get ready to be uncomfortable and get comfortable with discomfort. Like, just get comfortable with not being comfortable. Oh, I'm not comfortable. I'm where I'm supposed to be then because I don't feel comfortable. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do because I don't feel comfortable. And I'm going to say this, and some people may be offended by it, but I got to say it. Yes, Monica, that's a good place to be. Stop hiding in the church and behind religion. Stop hiding in the church and behind religion. Let me tell y'all something. People use church like a drug. People use church like a drug. They use religion like a fix, like a hit. Oh, I'm gonna go to church. I'm gonna get this good word. You get a fix. You get your hit. You get your fix. You're like, okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Because I just got my fix. Now, don't think I'm telling you, don't go to church. Don't think I'm telling you, well, I'm telling you, don't get caught up in religion because religion is a place of condemnation. Okay. God desires relationship. God never said that he wanted religion. Religion is man-made. Okay. But relationship is from the Father. That's why you hear Jesus always talking about relationship between him and the Father. It was always about relationship. It was never, he was just doing it out of routine. Even when he kept the feast, it wasn't just routine. It was the feast means something. So I'm not saying don't have any rituals in your life. I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't hide behind religion. Don't use religion as your drug. Don't use the church as your drug. Well, as long as I'm in church 5 days a week, I won't sin. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. Get some discipline. Let God teach you discipline. And that means that sometimes you're going to mess up. But you know what we do? We beat ourselves up so bad that we go to extremes. I can remember a time in my life where I felt like my life was so chaotic and I needed stability. I went to the church, and I went to a church that's very rigid, right? It's fairly rigid. And I got stability, but the stability was based in rules and legalism. Now, y'all know me now. Me and rules, we don't always get along so well, right? Um, but in that moment, I was like, okay, this is gonna fix it. It didn't fix it. It just put a false parameter there for me. That's what it did. So sometimes what we do is we look for something or someone to give us our parameters instead of establishing our parameters, allowing the word of God, our relationship with God, our experiences with God. We'll have someone, we need somebody to tell us, don't do this. Okay, that's why sometimes in parenting, when you think about authoritarian parents are parents who do it because I said so. Okay. And sometimes when you're in that place and you have that, what it does is it produces certain things in you. So if you're in church and all you hear is, oh, do this because I said so. Don't do this because I said so. Don't do this because God said so. Do this because God said so. Right? That's all you're hearing. You're going to begin to resent the one who's laying down all of these rules and tell you can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't. And we wonder why our children run away from God, run away from church, run away from that experience because we've turned God into an authoritarian God when he is not an authoritarian God. He is an authoritative God. He will give firm guidance and direction with some explanation. Sometimes he'll give explanation, sometimes he won't give explanation. But regardless, he's never going to make you do it out of just fear. He's not. He's not. Now listen, these fear tactics, you know what they're rooted in, right? You know what fear tactics are rooted in. The enemy creates fear. The enemy creates fear. And fear tactics were used during slavery. How else do you have 5 white people in the big house and 50 slaves on the plantation, 100 slaves on the plantation, and they stayed? Hmm? Fear. When you begin to instill fear in people, and narcissists do this a lot, narcissists instill fear in people. So they make people fear being rejected, fear being beat, fear what the consequences are going to be. So it's always the other person's fault. So you don't want it to be your fault. So you're on eggshells and you don't want to upset anything because it's your fault. It's not your fault. Listen, God is a God of liberty. Where the spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. If there's no liberty, there's no spirit of the Lord. Okay? Let me be real plain with you. So when you're in these churches that are all legalistic and there's no spirit, there's no freedom. Listen, I hate to be the one to tell you, but there's also no God, because that's not God. God doesn't move like that. God doesn't operate like that. That's not God. That's not God. That's not God. And so we take this approach, this fear approach, and we put it in everything that we do. This gonna bless somebody. Somebody gonna get this. Yes, his plan is the best. If you leave and do the same, it's a fix with no discipline, but relationship corrects, changes, and disciplines. Exactly, Monica. Right. I'm going to help some of y'all. Okay, let's talk relationships for just a minute. I just want to share this. I'm going to drop this nugget. This is a jewel. This is a gem. If you got some paper, you might need to write this down, but I need you to definitely hold on to this because it is a different approach, right? All right. In a relationship, if you have to control the other person in the relationship, if you have to tell them what they can and can't do, if you have to go through their phone, if you have to track them, if you have to follow them, that's a problem. That's a problem. You know that's not love, right? That's not love. Now, and you may say, well, I have to do this because they cheated in the past. Okay. Well, I'm a firm believer that we have two options when it comes to cheating. Okay. We can stay or we can go. But what you cannot do and have an effective relationship is stay and continue to bring the cheating up and throw the cheating in the other person's face. Now, somebody might say, well, Dr. B, that's because you've been a cheater. I have been a cheater. And I've been the one cheated on. And I know either way, it does not work. If you are not willing to get over the hurt of the cheating, do the work required, because it requires some work to forgive them and move forward in the relationship, leave, break up, let it go, let that person go. Because you gotta no, ain't nobody got time for that. Right, Alita. Ain't nobody got time for that. Y'all, listen. I'm trying to tell y'all, I want to help you. True love. Listen to me. True, unconditional, agape love is freedom. You give the person the freedom to choose. Oh, you set your boundaries, but you give them freedom to be them. You don't have to control them. You don't have to dictate everything to them. You don't have to go through their phone. You don't have to watch their every move. You don't have to follow them. You don't have to track them. Listen, if you can't do that, you need to exit that relationship right now, because baby, you're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong place. And you can say, well, they did something that made me not trust them. Listen, your trust shouldn't just be in them anyway. Your trust should be in God. Listen, if you trust God and the God in them, then you can trust the process. And even if they stray, you can trust that the God in them will convict them, pull them out. Or if it doesn't, then you got to trust that God is showing you something. Sometimes we just don't want to recognize stuff for what it is. God is revealing something that is designed for you to move forward with your life and exit that situation. No, we want to stay and make it work. It ain't always meant for you to stay and make it work. It's not. Sometimes it's meant for you to see some stuff so that you can go, because this person is not willing, not ready to change. Listen, I know, but we get so caught up in trying to make people do right. No, let them people go. I'm just saying, listen, I'm just saying that when you let people go and do what they need to do and go through what they need to go through, you give them the freedom for God to work in their life without the extra pressure and constraints of your presence. Sometimes your presence is an extra pressure and constraint that they don't need in their life at this point, right? So give people freedom to expand, to grow, to develop, to become more them, to build a more authentic relationship with God. Whatever it is that they need, give them the space to do it. Give them that space. Sometimes what that means is, if you're married, a separation. I'm not saying just get divorced. Separate. Separate. That's why God instituted separation. Hey, you might need to step away for a minute so that they can get themselves together. But we don't want to separate because we live our life in fear that the relationship is never going to work. If we separate, they're going to find someone else, and then we'll never get back together. We'll never have our happy family, our whole family, our nuclear family. We'll never have that. Baby, listen, there's some things that you don't need to have. Okay, I'm just trying to tell y'all, we fight space. Okay, it may lead to divorce, it may not. But either way, sometimes you need space so that there is not this extreme bitterness, so that there's not all this fighting, so that you think you're doing it for the kids, but the kids are looking at y'all fight, talking about, I just wish they would not be together. Y'all, come on. Real love expands, it doesn't constrict. Real love expands, it doesn't constrict. Monica said, I'm not doing all that. I just told someone I'm not going back and forth with them, and they are forgiven, and I'm free from pain, resentment, anger, and unforgiveness. Yes, because otherwise you start to resent them. You resent them. And there's nothing worse than living with someone who resents your presence. Yes, Carlos. Thank you, boo. They resent you. That resentment shows up. Real love expands. It expands. It expands opportunity. It expands the environment. Like, it expands. Real love expands. It doesn't constrict. Fear constricts. Love expands. Fear constricts. Fear does this. Love does this. Okay? So if you're doing this, you're operating out of fear. You need to check where that fear is coming from. Don't say the other person did. No, no, no. There's something in you, something that you've experienced. I talked about this yesterday. It may be your attachment style, but there's something that you've experienced. Girl, yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to do that, Monica. It's something like, it's something you've experienced that it triggers for you. Remember, your triggers usually go back to childhood. And so what happens is someone does something that triggers something that really was instilled in childhood. So when you go back and deal with those childhood traumas, then it allows you to begin to move forward. We're drawn to what's familiar. We're drawn to what we know. People, try to make it all mystical. It's not mystical. Like literally, it's science. It's science. God and science go together. They are not in competition with one another. God created science because he created everything. He is a God of order. He's a God of patterns. He is a God of systems. Listen, God laid all this out. He knows. He knows, y'all. And I wish that we could really come to grips with science is not your enemy. Science is not your. The more I study, the more I'm like, wow, God is amazing. Like God laid this out like that. God did this. Listen, do not spend your life in relationships built in fear. Allow God's love to expand. So let me tell you how I know God's love doesn't constrict, it expands. Okay. So when you look and you read about Jesus and you read about him in the Garden of Gethsemane, right? And he's in the garden and he don't want to do it, y'all. I don't know if y'all saw that part of the story. Y'all read that part? I don't know. But he didn't want to do it. He didn't want to do it. He did not want to do it. So if you find yourself in a place where you don't want to do something God has told you to do, you're in good company because Jesus felt the same way. He didn't want to do it. He said, let me go pray about this. I just need to pray. I need my daddy to help me with this. Yes, Carlos. Right, Monica. We got to forgive ourselves. Yes. We allowed it and we are just as much of the blame. We have to deal with the root. Absolutely. So Jesus is in the garden. And I want y'all to really picture this because I know this has been me sometimes. I found myself in places where God said, do this. And I'd be like, God, I don't want to do this. Jesus is in the garden. He's got his boys. He said, listen, I'm getting ready to go in here and pray. But I need y'all to be praying for me because I need help, right? And they out there and they're supposed to be praying, right? So he goes in the garden. He's like, Daddy, listen, this thing that you're asking me to do, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But listen, can we find another way? Is there any other way? God, is there any other way that this can be done? Because I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this, No answer. Cricket. He gets up and he goes out there. And then his friends ain't even praying. They sleep. It's like, wake up. Y'all wake up. Wake up. I need y'all to pray. I need y'all to pray. They don't understand because it's not there. It's not them having to go through it. So, and they don't understand the depth of what's getting ready to happen. They don't understand. They just tired. And so that spirit of sleep fell upon them. Y'all know how the spirit of sleep fall upon you. Spirit of sleep fell upon them. They wake up and like, oh man, yeah, we got you. So they're praying. They're like, Father, please, God, God of Isaac, Abraham, and Joseph. Listen, they praying. Jesus said, okay, they praying. So let me go back in here and try this again. And he said, Daddy, listen, I know that you need me to do this, but look, are you the God of all things? So can't you do this another way? Isn't there another way that you can do this? I need you to find another way to do this. I need you. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I don't know that I can do it. I don't want to do this. I don't want to die yet. I don't want to leave my boys. I don't want to leave the people. God, I want to stay a little longer. I'm not ready to go yet. I'm not ready. Gets up, goes back out there. Boys sleep again. Man, what are y'all doing? Y'all can't stay woke for nothing. Like for real. in here crying my heart out because I got to go through some stuff and y'all ain't even praying. What are y'all doing? I don't even understand why y'all doing this to me. Well, y'all supposed to be my boys. Y'all supposed to be my friends. Come on, y'all. Can't y'all have my back in this? All that I've done for you, you can't have my back in this? Goes back in. At this point, he pulls the hand, facing hands. And he's crying because he literally knows that God's failure to respond is his response. And then he says, okay, not my will, but yours. And he braces himself. And he goes out there. No need to argue with them about being woke. He just wakes them up because he knows what's getting ready to transpire. And then Judas shows up with all these people. And he greets him with a kiss. And it starts the whole process. So check this out. If Jesus went in the garden and had a garden experience, why do you think that you can't? Why do you think something's wrong with you? Why do you think that must not be God? No, I don't know. I think we only want to see the good parts of stuff, right? We want to see all the times when Jesus was obedient, and he was eventually obedient. But he had a time where he was struggling with that thing, baby. He was like, listen, Daddy, I don't know about this right here. We want to make him all, super perfect and everything. He did everything right, but we don't want to deal with the fact that he was 100% God and 100% human. Both. He had to decide which he was going to allow to rule. Truth is, this might mess some of y'all up. But like Jesus, we're 100% God and 100% human. He's the first, the elder brother. I'm not saying that we're Jesus, but Jesus said, and greater works than these shall you do. How can you do greater works than Jesus if you don't have the same DNA that he had? How can you do that? God resides in us like he resided in Jesus. We got to decide, is it going to be the flesh that rules our humanity, or is it going to be the God in us that rules our spirit? I think that we don't want to acknowledge that because it means that we have more control than we want to admit over our life and how we live it. I admit it. Listen, there are times when I let my flesh rule, my humanity rule, where I don't allow God in me to take control and to rule. I don't allow the Spirit of God to rule and reign within me, not without me, but within me. And I know that that's what this life is about. Life is about allowing the God in you to rule so that we operate more in the spirit than we do the flesh. That's why the Bible says the spirit and flesh are at war with one another. They're at enmity with one another. Which one is going to rule? Which one is going to reign? But when you understand that that spirit within you is God, stop playing with me. There's nothing I can't do. There is nothing that is impossible because God is in me. So when I understand that, that shifts my posture. It's time for a posture shift. God knows the plans that he has for you. They're plans for good and not for evil, for you to have a hope and a future. But it's up to you to allow the God in you to rule, to allow the Spirit to reign, and to subdue the flesh. So as you expand God's Spirit in you, you expand your love, you expand your capacity, and you reduce your fear. Who's ruling in you? Spirit or flesh? And it can vacillate. But what I'm going to tell you is it's time for you to really understand who you are. You are the brother, the sister of Jesus Christ, Yeshua. What he did, you can do. You've been given the same authority that he had. It's not different. It's the same. In fact, you have a greater ability because you also have the Holy Spirit working for you. What you doing? What we doing? So when we say we can't, that's because we choose not to. Just be real. It's not that you can't, it's that you choose not to. See, one thing about me, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with myself. I'm gonna be honest with other people. Because somebody got to be freaking honest out here. Oh, these people lying. Oh, I'm da 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 da. Whole time behind closed doors. I don't have time for schizophrenia, bipolarism. I don't have time for that. I do what I do. I don't be respectful. I do what I do. So I have to acknowledge it. Oh, Monica, that's good. Monica said we suppress our spiritual DNA to be natural because it seems easier, but because spirit was free, we naturally deal with mental issues. I listen, I'm Monica, that's a whole word right there. That's a whole word. That's a whole word. That's why I firmly believe this with everything in me. We have a lot of homeless people. We have a lot of people in mental institutions because they have been at war, spirit and flesh, inside of them at war. And I'm just going to tell you, excuse me, because we don't prepare people for things that happen in the spirit, people think they're crazy. There's a lot of people that think they're crazy because they hear voices. A lot of people that think they're crazy because they see things, right? They see, like I see demons. I see, no, you're not crazy. That is a spiritual gift. But if you're not taught how to deal with it, it'll make you go crazy. You'll go crazy seeing demons and stuff. Every time I look, I see demons. No, that's because demons attached to these people. Okay. That's why you're seeing it, you know but it's a lot, especially because the gifts don't start when you're an adult. Yeah, listen, we have these gifts when we're children, you understand, and we have to grow and develop them. So what am I telling y'all? Listen, you thought it was over because some things hadn't happened, but God is growing you up and maturing you. Some things require a level of maturity, and it's not taught that way necessarily in most churches. So because it's not taught, you don't understand it. Because they don't believe in certain things, then you don't believe in them. So you running around here seeing stuff and thinking something's wrong with you, and you crazy or you're demon possessed. You're not. God has given you a gift of sight so that you see demons. You may even see angels, right? You see stuff. You see stuff happening in the spirit realm. No, no, no. It means that God has given you a gift. And it doesn't seem like a gift all the time, but it is definitely a gift, and it's designed to be used for the kingdom. But because you're not being taught, you don't understand it. If you dream and you have these very vivid dreams and then things happen, or someone tells you their dream and you understand it, you're not crazy. You interpret dreams. You're a dreamer. Listen, I'm trying to tell you. Yes, Monica. Our spirit is reaching for God. Listen, we've got to understand that what God desires to do in this earth realm, he's doing with us. Could he do it without us? He could, but he chooses not to. So he's chosen to do this with us. And so that means that he needs seers. He needs people to do all these different things. Many members, one body. The body got to have sight. Somebody got to see, and not just see prophetically, but see what's going on in the spirit realm down here. Okay. The veil is thin and the veil is thinning. Okay. The veil between the natural and the spiritual is thinning. It's thinning. It's thinning. It's thinning. It's thinning. It's thinning. As we get closer and closer to end times, the veil gets thinner because God needs people to see. I wasn't trying to go here, but clearly he needed me to go here. So if you're seeing things, you're not crazy. If you're hearing stuff that doesn't make sense, you're not crazy. If you're dreaming dreams and then things are happening, it doesn't mean you're crazy. Okay? Listen, all of this is God trying to equip people to occupy certain roles for what's coming next and to prepare his people. That's why what he's called you to do is so important. That's why it's about your relationship with him. Because when you're in relationship, he can tell you some things that he can't tell you when you're not in relationship. If all you do is read the book, but you're not listening to him, he can speak to you through the book, but it's some stuff that he wants to tell you specifically about you, your situation, your circumstances. I'm telling you, he wants to have conversations with you. So next time you pray, stop doing all the talking. Stop doing all the talking and allow God to minister to you, to talk to you. Sometimes I just have to be quiet and he say, listen, let me tell you something. Da 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 da. And I'd be like, you got to understand. Monica said a wire transfer is what's happening. Literally, God told me in 2010 that there's going to be a supernatural wealth transfer that occurs in the natural. But it's going to be a supernatural uh, wealth transfer. It's going to be like things are get flipped upside down. People's money, like they holding your money, and it's going to get transferred to you. Okay. It's not always going to be some nice transaction either. Understand that. Some of it is going to be you go through something, and what you go through is designed for the wealth to be transferred to you. So stop complaining about having to go through certain things. God may be trying to get something to you that he wants you to have, but he's doing it through the back door. Okay. Look, y'all, I pray this word blessed you. I pray that you've gotten something out of it. If you've been blessed by this word, um, sow a seed, sow a seed at Cash App $ DRV Walters, or PayPal.me/DRV Walters. Listen, the healing retreat, the Healing Daddy Wounds retreat here in Columbia, South Carolina, July 28th through the 30th, or the 30th through the 1st. This is for the daughters. This is for the daughters. Hold on. I've got something coming for the sons soon. This is for the daughters. Right now, it's $350. It's $350 for the whole retreat. Normally, it was 15, dropped it to 7. He said 350. Can y'all just register? Because this God that I serve, okay? That's the full price. If you pay that by and we have oh my goodness, what is it? Afterpay. With Afterpay. If you pay that and you pay that, I'm gonna extend it. If you pay that by Wednesday, the 350, then you secure your spot, or you can pay the deposit and pay the 700, and that is 250. Okay. So definitely you guys register. If you know someone who needs it, let them know. If you want to register for the retreat and you need the information, type healing in the comments, and I'll get that to you. I'm excited about that because as we heal those childhood traumas, then we free ourselves to be able to love fully. I'm telling you, if you don't heal them traumas, your love is tainted, y'all. It's tainted. It's a little jacked up. I'm telling you, you'll find that you have a lot of your daddy wounds playing out. Daddy wounds and mommy wounds playing out in your relationships, your marriages, your romantic relationship, your relationships with your children, your business relationships, your life, period. You'll see those playing out. They play out. They don't just disappear. It doesn't happen like that. You got to really deal with that stuff. You got to unpack it. You got to pull it up, let it be pulled up by the root so that it can be dissipated, so that you can move forward. You need skills, right? You need skills to change behaviors, right? So I'm excited about that. Um, Amen, Monica. Yeah, yeah. And he does that. I'm telling you, he brings stuff back up. Like you gotta, it's some stuff you gotta deal with. Anyway, with that said, you guys, join us at 9:30 for our Sunday service, Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purposes Ministries. The word is gonna be fire. I'm just telling you, God is up to something, and I don't want y'all to miss it. We start at 9:30 right here. Wherever you're watching me now, you can watch me then. I appreciate you. I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Have an amazing, epic, and incredible day. And know that if God be for you, he is more than the entire world against you. Be blessed. Mwah.